a big-ass cheesesteak burrito. About damn time, don't you think? Here we go again, as we start with some beef. I got a whole lot of beef this time since I couldn't help myself. These are skirt steaks. If you get them from a regular grocery store, they will come all nice and trimmed up for you. But if you buy a cryovac pack like this, then you'll have a little bit of work ahead of you. But don't worry, because it's very easy to clean these up, and I'll show you just how to do it. First, pat them down with a paper towel to get most of the blood red juices off. You don't have to be perfect about it. If there are any noticeable large chunks of fat, trim those off first. Then you must remove the silver skin. It pretty much peels off quite easily, but you might have to get yourself a starting point by getting your knife under the skin at the end so that you have something to grab onto. Then peel it off. I've seen professional butchers do this in about 10 seconds, but no need to rush. It might not all come off in one shot, so go back and trim and peel the rest off if need be. As far as cleaning it up more than just the silver skin, I just trimmed off any hard pieces of fat along the outside. I don't mind a decent amount of fat on mine, and it mostly renders off anyways. I only need one of these steaks for today's cook, and while it looks cool to cook it in one long steak, I cut it in half because it's much more manageable on the grill, and often they can be odd-shaped with one end being thicker than the other. I'm going to season both sides of these with the usual salt, pepper, and granulated garlic. No onion powder this time because since this is a cheesesteak burrito, I'm going to add onions, which I dice up roughly to begin with before adding a bit of butter to the pan and sauteing for a bit. I decided not to caramelize them today. I just cooked them until nice and translucent since I wanted more of an oniony flavor, if that makes any sense. If you want them caramelized, just cook them until deep golden brown. A cheesesteak burrito needs cheese, and we have plenty of that. We have Monterey Jack, smoked Gouda, and smoked cheddar. After you get it all shredded up, add some milk into a sauce pot on medium heat. When the milk is hot, start adding your cheese in a little at a time and stir in to melt. Keep adding more and continue to stir as you go. Eventually, it will thicken up into a sauce. Keep in mind that when the sauce cools a little, it will always thicken up more, so don't worry if it's a little on the thin side if you make this ahead of time. Before cooking the steak, I wanted to char up some jalapenos, so I just put them on the grill and cooked them with the lid closed until they looked like this. Give them a rough chop and they're ready to go. Now let's cook up the steak to perfection. Make sure to let the meat rest by wrapping it in foil and letting it sit at least 10 minutes so that it doesn't bleed out all of its juices. Now with skirt steak, you must cut it correctly, or no matter how tender you made it, it will be rubbery and chewy because of the way that the fibers run. So first cut it into segments like such. Turn each segment 90 degrees and then cut it into strips. For a burrito, I cut the strips into smaller pieces and it just melts to the bite. We're obviously going for a small burrito today. Make sure to warm up the tortillas in a pan so that they roll nicely. Mine won't fit a pan, so I have a cheap flat top grill instead. It does the job. Now we build. Onions go on. Yes, I like onions. Lots of them. Jalapenos next. Only on half for some reason. Best of both worlds. Then the meat. Pile it on there. And now, finally, time for the cheese. Don't ever be stingy with the cheese. There never can be too much steak in a cheesesteak burrito, my friends. And we roll. Remember, with lots of ingredients that will shift on you, when you go to roll it, you kind of have to commit to it. Learn how to do it with one tortilla before messing around like this. Now, to seal the deal, a touch of butter on the flat top. Seam side down and be patient. Flip. Bottom should be sealed. Now let's check this out.